do you feel the same way now as you did 30 years ago when you would hear the influence King's X had on these bands? Like you sometimes when you talk about STP, you said they would rip off the King's X
Mm-hmm.
sound, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that okay with you? Is that honor? Is that
It's two
respect?
things. It's a bittersweet thing, and to get into that real quick is remember Dead and Bloated. I put it on the record player when it came in on, and I pushed the button, and I went to the bathroom to take a leak, and my roommate had just walked in the door, and no, he went to the bathroom, and I had put the record on, and I sang the beginning part like I normally do, really loud, and then the riff came in, and he comes out of the bathroom and says, "Is that a new song you're working on?"
Right.
And I went, and that's when it dawned on me. Second was when I heard the second Alice in Chains record. My friend John Sutherland hates Alice in Chains because he feels they ripped this off and he's mad at them. I don't hate Alice in Chains. I'm proud that they did. They brought it to the world in their own fashion and put their own twist to it with their own thing. And they're one of my favorite bands. Don't get me wrong. So, but John sent me the second record before it came out, a cassette of it. He said, "Doug, listen to this and tell me what you think. I'm not going to say nothing." I played the first side, and it was everything that I wanted King's X to do, be, and sound like. Mm-hmm. I was so disheartened that I couldn't play side two. I didn't play it. I just texted him back and I says, "Dude, I just, and so a couple of days later, I decided to play side two, and it did the same thing. But about that record is, it's one of the best records that's ever been made.
This is Dirt, right?
Yes, Dirt. Yeah. Now, I think it's gonna rain. I heard him. He's doing Doug.
Right.
I went to see them play at Lollapalooza before the record came out, and Jerry had his guitar in his hand and was playing Rooster. He said, "Doug, I just made up this riff. What do you think?" And when he played it, my mind went, "That sounds just like what Ty would make up." And I went, "Man, that's a badass riff. I can't wait." And I remember walking out the door because they were going on to play, and I went out to watch them, And it was like, they were like my kids at the same time. They looked up to me. They had this innocence about them. They weren't, they from the day I met them all, they were respectful and like eyes open. They gave me their first demo when I met them in Seattle. I remember meeting the guys from Alice in Chains, and they gave me their demo, and it sounded more like Guns N' Roses than anything at that time. The first demo, you've heard it probably, and Jeff Ament told me, he said, after we played, he said about 6 months later, he went and saw Alice in Chains, and he said they were playing this slow, broody, low music that he said they completely changed. And so there was a change in Seattle it wasn't like, I can't say everybody went, "Oh, we want to sound like King's X." I think they were moved by the sheer power that we had at the time, because Jay used to run it. Remember how Jay used to run sound? It was like, he plummeted you, and he could do that. He did that better than any band I ever seen at the time. So when we went in to play, they got the power. They got that heavy groove. They got the bigness of it that we couldn't put on a record, but they knew how to do it. And when they put their records out, it was big and it was heavy and it was fat. And I went, that's what we sound like live. Our records sound like wimpy records. Who fucking cares? Because metal was that little thin kind of sound, and we were in a metal label and we were mixed by metal. We were in that metal world.